you know you're leaking, you got to buy an extra gallon. You won't have to buy an extra gallon when you install this. Yeah, it's less performance. There's always stuff happening. Blake Littler, loud as can be with his truck. Now he's running the 6L outside. Hey everybody, welcome back to Blessed Performance YouTube channel. Today, I'm standing with Mitch with 7.3 Dipstick. Agnes is back here in the background. We'll show you guys that a little bit later on. We call it the short bus, right? Agnes the short bus, yeah. And they got three states left to get 48 states in 18 months to market this guy right here. So this is the only way you can repair the dipstick adapter on the Ford 7.3 diesel without pulling the pan or abandoning something inside. And when I say abandoning something, this is the piece that the other options require you to leave in the pan because you can't get it out. So unless you pull the oil pan, you have to leave that float in the bottom of your pan for the life of your engine. And I wasn't comfortable with that. So I wouldn't be either. Right. You know, this is why I'm so excited for you to be here today. I'm not like a hardcore 7.3 guru. I like 7.3s, I love them. But I'll be the first to admit, I've actually never had to replace one of these. I'll be the first to tell you, like, I've never done this, okay? Right. I've never done this install, so I'm excited to see this happen today because as much as I've worked on trucks and done repairs and all that good stuff and built really cool stuff, any 7.3 I've ever seen has already had the upgrade done to it. So I didn't have to install it. So I'm pretty excited to see you do this today. Yeah. Because you're going to show me how to do it.
I'll show you guys step by step how easy it is to do. And I'm going to do it by hand because this is obviously a demo pan. It's not, we don't need the crescent wrench or channel locks or anything to get the parts off because I demoed this all over the country in the bus. We go to our dealers, we go to truck shows and just kind of educate the consumer on what we did. From the factory, Ford uses a 3-piece dipstick adapter. Okay. There's an O-ring on the back that fits in this groove, and then it sandwiches into the pan with this flanged nut.
Okay.
The failure that happens, as you can see on this guy, is the O-ring swells, causing everything to deform, and then the oil leaks. So Ford says, hold the engine, because it's the only way to get the pan off right, turn the engine upside down, take the pan off, remove all 3 pieces, replace them with brand new pieces, reseal the oil pan, wait 48 hours for the silicone to cure, reinstall the engine. It was like a $4,000, $4,500 oil leak. When I was a mobile mechanic. So I was losing these jobs. I was having to send them to dealers with lifts to pull the cab, and then you send your customer to another shop that can do something you can't. It's hard to get that customer back because you were in a position you couldn't fix their thing. So I had a client show me another kit that repaired it inside the vehicle, and that kit said to put that in the bottom of the pan, and I just thought, there's no way. There's no way as a mechanic I can do that. So it took quite a few months. This was all the way back in 2015.
Oh wow.
So it's been over 10 years since the prototype went out the door, and I benched it for 5 years. I was busy. I was 3 to 6 weeks out on the books. I never had time. I just never thought of it. Met a patent attorney in 2018, and it changed my life.
Cool.
So
this is a patented product now.
So this now has 2 patents.
Okay.
We started patent pending in 2019. That finalized in 22, 23. And then there were a bunch of copies that came out, and they got away with it by not including the instructions. Because then they were just selling parts, but not telling you what they were for. We were actually fortunate enough to get them off the market.
Cool.
And filed for a design patent. So now we've protected the actual specs of the parts as well as what it does. So it is 2 full U.S. patents, and it's also trademarked with the 7.3 Dipstick name, so they couldn't market other stuff under the name. It's
100% made in America.
It's 100% made in America, and that was huge to me, and a big reason why we patented it and trademarked it was I didn't want copies out there that were not made here in America. I've toured the facility that every piece is made right now.
That's awesome.
Here in America.
That's pretty rare in today's world. That's pretty cool. So I mean, the one-time fix-all, like, and how much does this cost?
So retail on it is $89.95. So it's under a $100 bill. I have quite a few shops that do this regularly, and they say it averages about $300, $350 out the door. That's to clean the pan, remove the starter, do the job. First time you do it, it'll probably take you 2 hours. And a lot of that is cleaning the debris so you can get the seal to work the way it's supposed to.
Okay.
So the big thing behind this kit is we eliminate the oil to rubber contact by moving the seal to the outside and utilizing the ultra black silicone.
Okay.
If you don't have oil to rubber, it can't fail again. The rubber won't swell, deforming these itty bitty thin parts.
Yep.
Even the factory parts are super small.
Yep.
So the solution was, and I'll walk you through the install, but the solution was eliminate oil to rubber contact. If you look at Permatex and their specs, if it's too thick, it won't cure and it won't work.
Okay.
So we had to get the silicone on there and then make it within Permatex's working limit.
Okay.
In order to guarantee that the seal would work.
Yep.
So the install, if you want, we can walk you through it real quick.
Yeah, we're gonna
Take
do
a
the
couple
install
minutes.
right now.
So I recommend,
I'm gonna go out a video. We're gonna go watch him do this.
okay, so I recommend picking yourself up a 1/2 inch bore brush. I like brass because it's stiffer than nylon, so it really grips and you're not at risk of dropping it. Because the big concern with this repair, people don't want this to accidentally fall in.
Yep.
Even though the other brand says it's okay to leave it there, you don't want to accidentally drop it in. So I get a 1/2 inch bore brush, long handle, bend it over into a J, pretty simple. And you drive that down into the hole where the dipstick goes. So you remove the dipstick tube from the motor, you take the starter off. I always recommend disconnect your batteries if you're gonna move the starter.
Yeah.
Sparks are not fun.
Yeah.
So that's, before you get to the adapter, that's really it. You disconnect your batteries, you pull the dipstick tube out, and then you remove your starter for access.
Okay.
Once you're in there, utilizing your holding tool, you're going to remove the factory nut that is probably loose from the failure and set that off to the side. Once that's out, you're going to tip the adapter and reach in and grab the old O-ring and pull that out of the hole. What that does is make sure that it can't continue to swell and get distorted and break up and end up in your pickup tube.
Now this is a used O-ring.
This is a used O-ring, and you can tell the size difference. If it was the original O-ring, it would have fit inside that groove easily.
Wow.
That's how much it
100,000
swells.
miles. That's no wonder they leak.
Well, it's 25, 30 years
Yeah,
of
no
oil
wonder.
saturation,
Yeah.
just swelling them and deforming the product.
Wow.
One thing of note, unless you're an OBS bus or van like mine is, your dipstick will point forward there like it does on the Super Duty. If it's an OBS pickup, you want to clock it so it goes straight up and down.
That's some good technique.
Now that is not always the case. Motor swaps, people have done weird things. So before you remove your nut, check and see. Is it pointing straight up or is it pointing forward?
Okay.
The pans are all notched. So
There's
either
only
or.
two ways it can go.
There's only two ways it can go, but if you install it the wrong way, you got to strip it apart and do it again. So just make sure you know before you start the job which way your dipstick's pointing.
Okay.
Once you've got that done, you're going to clean the pan and the adapter threads. Brake clean rags. You want this thing as dry as it can be and clean, because the Permatex won't stick to oil.
Yep.
So if you have an oil drip here, it's not going to dry, and you're going to send me an email. I include my personal email in every kit.
Nice. That's pretty
So
cool.
that I can answer it as the patent holder
Yeah.
and walk you through what happened. Once you've got that done, you're going to open your tube of silicone, which we provide you in the kit. So you don't have to source anything but cleaning supplies and your brush.
Okay.
You're going to apply the silicone in a bead where the pan and the threads meet all the way around.
Okay.
And feel free to make it a bead. You want that silicone on there because the rest of the kit is going to do its job of making that silicone the thickness it needs to be.
Okay.
But if you don't use enough silicone, you could have a gap where it
Okay.
didn't go. The proprietary patented gasket, I like to use fancy terms, it makes me feel important. You're going to push that on, and that's going to push that silicone down into all the cracks and crevices. Then you're going to slide your gas or your washer over it. The purpose of those two parts, the gasket pushes that silicone in, but still allows enough give so that it doesn't squeeze it all out.
Yep.
If you were to use metal to metal and it hit a high spot or a ridge, it would actually pinch that silicone away. You wouldn't get a seal.
Yep.
So
makes
the
sense.
gasket keeps it within its thickness. And you'll notice we have the two notches on this, and that's to push those little ears down and make that silicone the right thickness. Then you're going to take your aluminum nut, slide it up over the tool. Party foul. This is the trickiest part. This nut is made of 6061 aluminum.
Okay.
This is made of stainless steel. This is made of pot metal. Those three metals will not react with each other and cause electrolysis. That's why we went with the aluminum. Steel, if you're in the Rust Belt, would have rusted, and in a year or two, you would have lost the nut, and the kit would not be as permanent as I wanted it to be.
No,
So we pay extra for 6061, but it's really small threads, and you're laying on your back, and dirt's falling in your eyes if you're doing this in your driveway. So you really want to make sure that when you get this nut started, this is like before you start this part, if you need to, get out from underneath there, take a break, have a beer, do whatever, so you don't cross thread it. Because if you cross thread it, it's not better than Loctite in this situation.
not in the terminology.
So
You're an old mechanic if you got that one.
once you get it down there and you get it tight, this won't wiggle anymore. As far as a torque spec, I probably should tell you it's like 6 foot-pounds or 8. It doesn't have to be a lot.
Grab a cross wrench and
You
snug it
don't.
up.
Yeah, you want it to go tight and then just a little bit more. And what you were looking for, if you want to zoom in here, you want to see that silicone squirt out. Once you see it come around everything and the silicone kind of push up in there and that's tight, then you know that it's also got on the threads and it's going to work like a thread locker and glue that nut so it can't vibrate loose. So at that point, you're done. Permatex says let it cure for 24 hours, I think. I've literally done them, and by the time you put the starter and the batteries and check the oil, we drove it out of the shop and not ever had it leak.
Yep.
So then you push that brush the rest of the way in so the bristles aren't facing the wrong way, and it'll pull right out of the pan. You've now cleaned your hole. See, it's not a holding tool, it's a cleaning brush.
There you go.
We just accidentally used it to hold it in place. The kit also comes with a new O-ring for the dipstick tube when you reinsert it, so you don't have a leak there.
Okay.
So you don't have to call Ford and give them $8 for their blue Ford O-ring. We include one that we spec'd for the kit. And I always tell people, Silglide, rubber non-eating lubricant, or just a little bit of Permatex to make it slippery to go back in that hole.
Yep.
And if you do use the Permatex, it'll help cure that hole so you won't end up with a leak here. But that's it. You're one and done for...
Most at-home shops have a lot of these extra supplies that you need.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, you guys, you can pick this up at Harbor Freight for like $2. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like $2 to $5 at
or
like
at
an
your
Ace
local
or
Ace Hardware.
or a Harbor Freight, or I think this one I actually bought a 10-pack on Amazon for like $15.
So, I mean, you can pick that up there and get your brake clean and anything else that you need.
Shop
This is
rack.
a very, very complete kit, and it looks incredibly easy to install. Like, holy crap, that was, it's not hard.
Right now, mind you, we're standing here with a beer.
Yeah, I know, it makes
We're
a little
not
easier.
laying
I'll be laying
underneath.
underneath drinking a beer.
We're not laying underneath. Yeah, we're not laying underneath it with all of that debris falling in your
Yeah.
eyes, getting angry, and I have actually found when I do these, because I've done them on the side of the road a dozen times, I put my feet underneath the pan so I'm looking at it this way instead of trying to do it over your head backwards. You know, left-handed upside down and backwards
Makes
is
it a
not
lot
great
more
when you're
challenging.
right-handed.
Yeah.
So yeah, it really is that easy to install.
Wow.
And once you eliminate the oil to rubber contact, like if you drive this thing for a week, you can drive it for another. The prototype truck had 250 when we installed it. He just put another tranny in it. His father passed away. That's whose truck it was. 684,000, no leaks. He's been through 2 transmissions and it hasn't leaked yet. So it is. I stand by the fact that it is a permanent repair because you're eliminating the cause. Which, as a mechanic, that was always it. Don't fix what broke, fix what caused it to break if you can. You know, if you got a radiator you've replaced 4 times, you probably have a misaligned core support.
Yep.
Or a misshimmed fan or something, you know. Find the root of the cause and solve that. And that's how we came up with it.
Unfortunately, I mean, in the diesel world, that can be hard to find sometimes. In the 6.0 world, you know, you pop in O-rings and stuff, it can be hard to find. But it's pretty cool that you thought of it so far. I don't mean, it's American made. It's cheap. You can do this and
It's cost effective.
yeah, cost
I
effective.
don't like the term cheap when
I
you're
don't like
talking
that.
about
Fair
diesel
enough. Fair
parts.
enough. You're right. Yeah. And the diesel terms, $89 is nothing. Okay.
Right.
So I don't mean to disrespect it. by
Oil
saying
change
cheap, but
costs
yes.
more.
Yes, an oil change costs more, and you'll leak more oil out of there than you could pay to fix this in 2 hours in a weekend at home. Maybe 3 hours if you're really doing it slow. You know?
We had a client come to a shop with this leaking before this was all developed.
Yeah.
And we said, just tow the truck. And he's like, I'm only 9 miles out. And I'm like, just tow the truck. And he's like, no, I got boxes of oil. 9 miles out, 13 gallons of oil to get it to the shop. That's how fast it pours out of that leak when it actually fails. And I looked at him and I'm like, for 13 gallons of oil, I think that was $20 a gallon when he did that. I'm like, you just spent $260 in oil to drive your vehicle in for a $150 tow. So it is, it's very cost effective in the diesel world.
You can hop on the website, order it today. It'll be at your house in 3 to 5 business days. And don't have to pay that. And with that little demonstration right there, I'm willing to bet 99% of the people I know or have ever met or have ever done their own oil change can do this fix. Like if you can change your starter, you can fix that. And generally, if you are an enthusiast, don't even be a mechanic. If you're just an enthusiast, you know how to change your starter. You know how to change your brakes.
If you can change your starter, you have enough tools in your box and know how to do this, because
you got to pull the starter.
Removing the starter and putting it back on is more strenuous than doing the repair.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's as simple as it gets. I don't know if it could be more simple.
And I tend to overthink everything I do. I have 19 ASEs, I was a shop owner, but when I did this, I really thought of the young kid, like high school student maybe, you know, works on a farm, whatever, has a toolbox with channel. I was like, how do I make it so easy to do that you don't have to have.
I mean, that's what a lot of young kids' first trucks are, 7.3s. Like, and
they're a great starter truck.
Every time we're running trucks on the dyno 7.3s, I'm like, that's leaking. I got the fix for that. I didn't know how to install it yet, even though it looks as easy as it can be, and I could figure it out probably. But it's really cool to have you here, Mitch, to do that with us, to show us. And now we can like link that right on the website and show people. And I mean, I don't know if it can get any more easy.
And the instructions. And we talk about American made. So I hand fold these instructions.
Nice.
I hand load every bag because I can only get them printed in trifold, and they won't fit in the bag. So I designed the instructions with a full color logo on one side, but on the other side, it is full detailed instructions on every step, including the starter and everything. And I even include pictures of how the product should look when it goes on. And like I said, my email is in here somewhere. I don't know where, but I know it's in every kit.
Perfect.
You're gonna have to read through it because I'm not speed reading that. Oh, right there, right above the pictures. My personal email, if you ever have any questions on how to install it or what was used or where it came from or any of that, is included for customer support.
Now when you guys buy that Schaefer's oil kit on our website and you know you're leaking, you got to buy an extra gallon, you won't have to buy an extra gallon when you install this. Yeah, it's less performance. There's always stuff happening. Clayton's over there loud as can be with his truck. Now he's running a 6.0 outside. We're finalizing some testing on some other products that you guys may not have seen, but
yeah, this is definitely not a, hey, we're sitting around looking for something to do kind of place.
Yeah,
there's always something going on.
You guys have been here a couple hours, you're like, gosh, I can't keep up. And then we're just like, let's get this video. I was so excited when you said you're going to swing by yesterday. I'm like, dude, this is the perfect time to finally make a video about this because I knew you would have something to display with.
And to show people just how simple it is. Like, it's not rocket science.
No,
it's really not. And you're eliminating the risk of having to abandon that in your pan or pull the engine. That was my favorite part. As a mobile mechanic, I wanted to do it for the customer and save them money, keep these things on the road. And I just wasn't, I'll be honest, the probability is really small that this will ever become a problem.
Yep.
But it's possible.
It's a problem.
And as a shop owner, I was the kind of guy that would have been buying new motors had I done that.
Yeah.
Because that's who I am.
I mean, realistically, I love that you pointed out that your goal is to make it to where, like, Angelo, my nephew here, he's young, you know. If watching this video, I guarantee he can do that. You know, he can do that install. He's looking to get his first diesel, and it may even be a 7.3, 6.0, whatever. But a lot of 7.3s are getting handed down to the younger generation, and because they're reliable. They don't break. They don't make a lot of power. No, but they can. But in the general rule of thumb, they don't make a boatload of power, but they just don't fail very often. But this is a big failure point. Once you fix that, I mean, I don't know.
Like I say, in a world full of 6.7s, dare to drive a 7.3.
Yeah, I love it.
And you know, the Agnes story is great too. We found her in a field with 325,000 miles. She'd been sitting parked for 10 years.
Oh wow.
We put a battery, one of 2 batteries in her, and 3 quarts of training fluid. Drove her 150 miles home on soft, dry rotted tires. We changed a few things to make her safe on the road, and we're 25,000 miles into a 48-state tour in a year and a half.
Wow.
On a 7.3.
Yeah.
They just start to run.
Yeah.
You know, they're probably not going to win a race, especially on a budget. But they're going to get you there, and they can pull your race truck behind them.
Yep,
You know,
yep,
they're an
yep.
efficient way to get your race truck to the track.
Oh, they are a wonderful way to do that because they're cheap to own, and then I mean they're inexpensive to daily drive. They get good mileage, and it's cool to see such a simple fix come out for such a big problem.
Yeah,
So
appreciate it.
I appreciate you swinging by.
My pleasure.
We've
as
met several
always.
times, but you've never been to the shop.
Nope, I've been
Love having
close.
you here.
We've drove like within 30 minutes of the shop probably 3 times and never made it here.
Well, now you did.
So we
So-
detoured our way here this time.
We really appreciate that. And folks, if you got any questions about this, don't hesitate to call. Our team obviously knows how to do it now. They've watched it done, and we have a video on YouTube. And if you got any questions about the product or you want to get one ordered up, we have them on blessperformance.com and stock and ready to ship. So thanks for all the support, because without you guys, he doesn't get to swing by, see our shop, and we don't get to meet him. Like, that's the honest truth here. Without you guys, we don't get to meet the people we've got to meet and bring the products that we've got to bring to you guys. We don't get to drink a beer on lunch break. Cheers.
Lunch break.
Cheers.
It's Friday.
It's Friday. We're gonna call it Friday.
We've been on the road 22 days, so we never know what day it is.
Yeah,
You said
fair
it was Friday. Come by. I was like, oh, awesome, Friday.
yeah. So get one ordered up. You got a 7.3. You don't want to miss this product.
And you know, a lot of guys, I'm not hard selling 7.3 guys by any stretch, but everybody carries a CMP sensor in the glove box, so if they break down on the highway, they're not stranded. Pretty sure this costs about the same as that, and it takes up about the same amount of space as that.
So if
Fits
it
in your
starts
glove box easily, and if you've not addressed your dipstick adapter, at some point you will. So I'm not saying buy one now and put it in there, but you know, if you're buying a bunch of parts, this goes as a really throw it in the box. You're not paying extra shipping, and now you have it for when you get to that need.
Yep.
I know there's several guys that carry it in their glove box because there's one guy, he travels the whole country in a 7.3. I won't throw out names, but he has one in his glove box now because he doesn't want to be 4 days away from the part if he needs it.
Yeah.
He goes off grid a lot.
Yeah, makes
And
sense.
so it's just one of those things. It's an option. If you're gathering a bunch of parts for a build, it's a quick, inexpensive part to add
It's
to
one of
your
those things
build,
you can-
and you'll never have to worry about it again.
You can
Peace
do
of
this on the
mind.
side of the road, or you could preventatively do it. It's in the grand scheme of diesel world, $89 is very inexpensive for a one-time fix-all solution.
Right.
So
It's peace of mind. $90 for peace of mind that you're not going to be stranded for this.
yeah, for something
It,
so
it could
simple.
be something else, but you're not going to be stranded somewhere for this if
Well,
you have it in hand.
Thanks so much for showing us how to do it.
Yeah.
And
Education is key.
Thanks so much, Mitch. I really
Take care,
appreciate
man.
it, brother, man.